Good day, here are today's top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has welcomed to Malacanang the new ambassadors of Australia, Israel, the Maldives, and Nepal, and reaffirmed the Philippines' commitment to deepen ties with their respective countries. In a statement from the Presidential Communications Officer PCO, the President formally received the credentials of Ambassadors Mark Ines Brown from Australia, Dana Kirsch from Israel, Dr. Mariam Shabina Ahmed from the Maldives, and Dr. Netra Prasad Timsina from Nepal. According to state-run radio television Malacanang, Ines Brown cited Australia's strategic partnership with the Philippines and its efforts to strengthen collaboration in key areas such as maritime security, counter-terrorism, and defense. He also expressed Canberra's intent to advance the strategic partnership with the Philippines, strengthen bilateral ties, and continue cooperation and support. In a separate meeting, Kirsch emphasized the Philippines and Israel's special bond dating back from the late 1930s when Manila sheltered 1,300 Jews fleeing persecution through President Manuel L. Quezon's Open Doors policy. He said he also looks forward to further collaboration in various fields such as agriculture, water solutions, defense, and health in support of Marcos's vision of Bagong Pilipinas. Meanwhile, Dr. Timsina thanked the Philippines for welcoming students from Nepal and showed interest in strengthening cooperation in energy, tourism, and disaster management. Dr. Shabina also conveyed on behalf of the Maldives her best wishes for peace and prosperity to the Philippines. For his part, President Marcos expressed optimism about the country's stronger ties with these countries under the leadership of their new ambassadors. The Philippines and the United States have approved plans to hold more than 500 joint military activities for 2026. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief General Romeo Browner Jr. and Admiral Samuel Paparo, commander of the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command or INDOPACOM, signed the annual 8-star memo and activities list during the Mutual Defense Board Security Engagement Board at Camp Smith, Hawaii on August 7 and 8. The joint engagements include large-scale exercise and expert exchanges, including Exercise Balikatan next year. The U.S. INDOPACOM said the recent engagement renews the shared commitment of the U.S. and Philippines to the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty. It also said the meeting reflects its enduring commitment to stability, cooperation, and preparedness across the region. Meanwhile, the AFP and the Australian Defence Force are engaged in coordinated naval drills off Lubang Island in Mindoro as part of this year's ALON or Amphibious Inland Operations. The Philippines and Australia kicked off the joint maritime activities in Puerto Princesa, Palawan on August 15. Over 3,600 military personnel joined Exercise ALON 2025 with additional participation from the Royal Canadian Navy and the U.S. Marine Corps Marine Rotation Force Darwin. In a statement, the AFP said the drills were designed to enhance interoperability, improve operational readiness, and strengthen maritime security cooperation. The training activities take place across Palawan and Luzon until August 29. And in related developments, Japan will join the annual Salaknib military exercises between the Philippines and the United States for the first time starting in 2026. This as the Reciprocal Access Agreement between Japan and the Philippines formally enters into force on September 11. Australia is also expected to take an active part in next year's Salaknib. The Salaknib drills, which started in 2016, reflects the historical bond between the Philippines and Americans that dated back to World War II. In other news, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has created an office that will oversee and fast-track the rehabilitation, development, and restoration of the Pasig River. The Office of the Presidential Advisor on Pasig River Rehabilitation, or OPAPRU, will monitor and harmonize initiatives, coordinate with stakeholders in implementing programs. The office also ensures compliance with river development directives and reports guides and advises the President on policy matters. The President created the OPAPRU by signing Executive Order 92 last August 13. The EO also reorganizes the Interagency Council for the Pasig River Urban Development, or IAC-PRUD. The council will be chaired by the Presidential Advisor on Pasig River Rehabilitation, with the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Chief serving as Vice Chairperson. Aside from implementing river rehabilitation programs, the IAC-PRUD is authorized to fund its initiatives through investment contracts and agreements with government and private entities. The EO cited the importance of an interagency effort to rehabilitate and develop the Pasig River and to improve water quality, restore marine life, and develop its surrounding communities. The Commission on Elections, or Comelec, is monitoring the recent progress in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BARMM, as the October 13 Bangsamoro parliamentary elections draw near. Comelec Chairperson George Erwin Garcia said they are particularly looking at the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF's decision to prohibit its members from participating in decommissioning activities in connection with BARMM elections. Garcia cited possible security issues such as the implementation of the gun ban. However, he emphasized that they have yet to see any issues related to the polls as a result of the order. On August 16, MILF Chairman Al-Hajj Murad Ibrahim directed all commanders and members not to participate in the decommissioning activity of the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, or OPAPRU. Meanwhile, Presidential Peace Advisor Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. said an open and sincere dialogue is the best way to address the current dilemma between the government and the MILF. In a statement, Galvez said that despite the current differences, the Bangsamoro peace process remains robust and dynamic. He said the government is open to discussing with the MILF leadership which programs can be jointly implemented without violating any prohibition related to the October 13 BARMM elections. And in our business news, the Department of Foreign Affairs said that the Philippines and New Zealand are looking for advanced discussions on market access for agricultural products. The subject was tackled during the inaugural Philippine-New Zealand Vice Ministerial Foreign Ministry Consultations, or MFC, held at the DFA office on Tuesday. As of this broadcast, there are no further details on the concerned products that will be granted access. The New Zealand Embassy in Manila also declined to provide the list, citing the ongoing talks. The FMC were co-chaired by DFA Undersecretary for Bilateral Relations and ASEAN Affairs Maria Helen de la Vega and New Zealand Secretary of Foreign Affairs and Trade-in-Chief of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, Bede Corey. The FMC is a regular venue between the Philippines and New Zealand to review and advance bilateral relations, which was previously held at the Assistant Secretary level. Meanwhile, a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, which is a trade deal between the Philippines and the United Arab Emirates, is being eyed for signing in the coming weeks as per UAE Embassy in Manila. UAE Ambassador to the Philippines Mohammed Al-Kataam Al-Zaabi said this is in his message on the 51st anniversary of the UAE-Philippine relations. Al-Zaabi said that bilateral ties between the two countries has sustained a strong momentum in terms of trade, development, culture, and people-to-people exchanges. CEPA will cover areas in goods and services, investments, small and medium enterprises, digitalization, customs, governance, and sustainability, among others. Once signed, the CEPA would be the Philippines' first free trade agreement in the Middle East. On top of the upcoming FTA, the two countries recently signed around 22 agreements focusing on culture, energy transition, legal cooperation, government modernization, and security. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. You may also watch the PNA headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am William Theo. This is the PNA headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.